Hey, welcome back. Hey, today I just kind of wanted to show some stuff I'm doing with my new holster. I bought a new Safari ALS holster. Seems like about every 5 years or so, I buy a new holster. You know, there might be an update to it. The one that I had before, I was using the 7ST. I bought this about 5 years ago, and it's not a bad holster. I really like it, but I kind of decided to go back to the thermal mold holsters. One of the reasons why I wanted to go, just because it bounces around, the gun bounces around a lot. There's no tension screws, and it's really more designed for a Glock 35. And you can really kind of look inside and see that there's a big old gap there with the practice gun. Yeah, it does move around when you run, so I decided to get a different holster with retention screws. And there's a few things I don't like about these holsters, and I made some modifications on them. I'm going to show you what modifications I make on this holster. Just make sure you want it, means when you like it, because once you return it, once you make the modification, you're not going to be able to return it. So one of the things that I don't like, it has this little cone inside. I'll pick some photos of it. I'll roll one in, but it's kind of designed for the barrel, the firearm to go into. So, and you can't use it as with your practice gun. So, see, but if I use the Glock, it fits right in there. No worries. Another thing it's also closed up at the bottom. So which means if you have brass that goes in, it's not going to come out. Or the 7TS holster, it will come out. Now this one here is for my Glock 35. I've used this for a few years as a regular duty holster for my Glock 22. I actually like the design a little bit better. It was kind of an updated design back in I think 2011, 2012 when I got this. But I made the modification so when brass falls in, it doesn't come out. And trust me, if you're on the range, somehow brass will make it into your holster. I even using this one, brass has found its way in the holster, and yeah, and you kind of have to do the dance to have it come out. That actually happened, where it sits right there on the light. So we're going to kind of go ahead and I'm going to show you some of the modifications I make on the holster, just so I can, one, brass will come out of the holster, and two, I can actually use my practice firearm and my training gun in there. So most Safariland holsters come with an Allen wrench, and what you're going to want to do, use that. Just going to want to remove this. You are going to be using this, so keep that aside. Now you have to get that out. Okay, so I had to go back, find some tools. So what you want to do here is get this complete. Forgot about this part here. Kind of I want to grab it. I can't remember how I got this out. You know what? I grabbed a razor. This might help. Be careful if you're going to use a knife or a razor to get this out. You don't want to cut yourself. Try it here. It's only tight on that side right there, so I'm still trying to get it out. I remember last time they had this little hook, like came out a little bit. You can see there's like this indentation for it. Just pop it out. It's really easy. Let me try off camera again. There we go. All right. That was a pain. Basically, I just had to yank it out. So as you can see, this kind of goes into here. And this is the little cone I'm talking about. So we are going to reuse this. We're going to cut this portion off. We're going to reuse the screw, because when you start doing this, you don't have a lot of, you could tighten the holster up really tight. We don't want to do that. So this is, if I remember correctly, this is kind of a soft plastic. So we're going to get a cutting board, because I'm on my kitchen table. You want to be careful. Watch, it's not soft plastic, it's like really hard. No, it's cutting. Kind of want to make a straight line if you can. See, it's kind of, it's working. Almost there. You want to make it a clean cut. There you go. Now it's two pieces. So this piece will go, oops, we'll go back in there. Close this safety first. This part here will go back into the holster like so. You're going to want to keep that part flat, so just remember to keep it flat. Now you're probably going to go, well, will it still keep the weapon retained? Yes. You don't want to do this portion too tight. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually take the actual take the Glock. I have Glock 17 right here. Thanks. So as you can see, it does a good job of retaining it. We're just going to tighten it down just a little bit. We don't want the front too back, but we're also going to do this too, this side here. I don't want it to be bouncing around. So this is a retention for the light, and usually I just crank this down for the X300s. Because this is you got to remember, this is a universal holster. It's not going to go anywhere. They do make one for the X300. I do like the X300 better than the TRL1. Just personal preference. That should work. It's not as bad, the rattle. And you could always tighten it up too when you take it to the range. Comes out. So yeah. And now when you're at the range, you won't have brass in your holster. And you can also use a training weapon for it now. You can actually really use it.